Appeared before the National Assembly's Education Committee. Magoha said the committee of experts and other stakeholders have given the green light for the reopening, but the government is still working the modalities. KTN's Shadrach Miti with the details.
The Parliamentary Education Committee, led by Vice Chair and Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Ngunjiri Wambogo, had many questions lined up for the Education Cabinet Secretary, George Magoha. But the highlight was the desire to know the government's official position on the fate of education.
Please, this is your moment. You could just...
The country is really waiting to hear, even if you don't tell us when the schools are opening, which I know you will not be doing. But what plans are you putting in place to open the schools?
After demands from a section of the members, Magoha spoke for the first time on the recommendations contained in the report by the National Education Response Committee on the reopening of schools.
For quite some time, you've been meeting, and a report is said to have been documented. We have not seen even part of that report, even just a page.
In any case, Mr. Chairman, allow me to tell you that most of the children are not at home. They are not at school. They are not at home. Where are they? So once we ensure that they are reasonably safe in schools, we want them in schools where they can be controlled. But this decision will be made by everybody. Don't look at me with bad eyes, because everybody will have to agree. Everybody, you, the presidency, myself, and the stakeholders. And I think it is about time, because if you look at around us, Tanzania and Burundi never closed. Uganda, which is as cautious as us, already opened. Zambia has opened. Angola has opened, and many others. So we are the only red in the map. And we are not animals, we are human beings.
Where we are at the moment, we will be fools as a country to continue keeping children outside and creating imaginary fear. The virus is not going to go away.
Whereas achieving social distancing among learners will be difficult, the government is relying on donors, development partners and well-wishers to assist in the purchase and procurement of personal protective gears for learners, besides installing other COVID-19 protocols.
We got some money from World Bank. We got some money from World Bank, which is we are supposed to use to monitor what is happening. So the government is not going to sit and wait. We are going to monitor. And if these adults are okay, and with thorough consultation, we may then bite the bullet and allow our children. And the concept is to start with the examination class.
After assuring Parliament of the government's advanced plans towards resumption of learning, the country hopes that this latest declaration by Professor Magoha will not follow the previous patterns of mixed signals. Nevertheless, the good professor maintains the journey towards reopening is firmly on track. Shadrach Miti, KTN News.
Remember, we're asking you in our Big Q whether you are satisfied with how the Ministry of Education is handling the reopening of schools. Seeing a lot of feedback here. Let's take a look at some. Before we move on, Nathaniel Magembe says, let's consolidate participation involving all stakeholders to give conclusive feedback on how schools will reopen, hence measuring the health status of the children. Unnecessary pronouncements puts parents, children and education stakeholders in confusion. We also have Kevin Wadadori, who says, not really, because it's like the restrictions are only meant for common mwananchi. Actually, we need to have a candid discussion on some issues here in Kenya. Some of these politicians are causing us more harm than good. Jimmy Gakio says, yes, although restrictions like night curfews are not scientifically proven to control viruses.